Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. It is 7:10 a.m. this morning, and we are happy to welcome on set Terrance Sandiford, chairman of the NCBA Tobago region. And this morning, we're speaking about that review and that recap of Carnival 2023, the national celebrations, but more specifically, the happenings here in Tobago. Good morning to you and welcome.
Pleasant good morning to you and all your visitors worldwide.
All right. So as we start the conversation this morning, the NCBA Tobago region, I know we would have had you on a bit earlier going into the Carnival season. Would the NCBA have taken part officially in the Carnival for 2023?
No, we didn't.
All right.
We
Based
didn't.
on your observations, sitting, I would say, from the sidelines,
Yeah.
how would you start off by rating on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what you would have seen as the execution of Carnival 2023?
0.
0. All right. Very interesting. So let's start by touching on what do you believe are some of the areas of focus that certainly need work?
Look, Julian, let me tell you something. We have been going over this year after year after year after year. I said earlier on, we spent over $250 million over the past 20 years, and it's the same thing. Earlier this year, when I was interviewed here, I made a statement that no more money should be given to the Band Leaders Association. And I have a reason for this. They operate as how the assemblies operate now. They have a wish list, they go with a cap, they go down to Trinidad, that's the assembly. The band leaders have a wish list, they come to the assembly. I'm saying tourism and culture to Tobago is as gas and oil to Trinidad. And we have to throw away the baby and the bathwater to solve this problem. We keep doing things in a piecemeal fashion, and it is not working. Bands coming out 2 and 3 o'clock in the evening. You give a set of incentives for them to come out early, and what happens? This now showing up costume and that kind of Mickey Mouse thing. And so I am so fed up that this thing is prolonging. So we need to let the authorities have a symposium where it involves all the stakeholders. And I ain't talking about that Mickey Mouse thing that Tasha Boris talked about consultation. I'm talking about a comprehensive thing whereby all the stakeholders could come together and restructure the carnival, restructure the tourism, because tourism and culture is so significant for our nation to be successful that if it is we have comedians that we have presently in tourism here, and they should be fired. They should be fired because they're not doing nothing to enhance the product of Tobago. Tobago is under managed by these comedians in tourism. So we need to sit down. We need to tell John he needs to help restructure the Festival Commission. They need to put specific rules and regulations into the band leaders. Band leaders are supposed to be able to come to the table and negotiate, not to talk down or fight anybody. The time for that is done. And we need to be more professional in our approach.
How do we make that change where it is the band leaders are not as heavily dependent on the Tobago House of Assembly? Almost, I suppose, calling it a right, so to speak, in terms of the support being requested. If I understand what you're saying, how do we get that evolution in terms of our band leaders here to recognize that the focus has to be on generating some kind of revenue by the promotion and so on of your mask and that kind of thing in terms of what you offer?
It's easy, It's extremely easy. Hear what I'm saying. You have to call in the band leaders. You have to tell them, listen, you must have elections and you must have a proposal, not a wish list, a proposal, a comprehensive proposal, where you're going in the next 3 years. You have let them elect their members. You don't get involved in that. You elect their members and let them come with a proposal. What are your plans for 3 years down the road? What kind of economic growth you're trying to promote? A lot of them band leaders, 90% of them should be selling sugar cake and tulum, you know. All right? And I'm saying that the serious 10% band leaders, let them come forward. Let us draw up a system whereby we can help them. Let us call in the expert. You have people like Winston Gorton, who is just, he's not doing nothing now. Call him in and let him deal with the band leaders from a financial position. How to do marketing, how to structure your budget, that kind of something. We need to teach these people something they don't know. They don't know.
So you're saying we have to go back to the point of educating and informing for a better understanding of the industry.
Literacy rate in Tobago is very high, you know. It's very, very high. Ask Vanas James and them guys and them. They go tell you. But they don't talk public. They don't talk in the public. They don't make them kind of statements and pronunciations, you know. But that's how it is.
So when we get to what is the obvious question, Tobago has now postured itself last year executing the Tobago Carnival in October with all intentions. It appears that there will be a repeat for 2023.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Are you suggesting now that there should be greater focus on building out the Tobago Carnival to include some of these same elements in February?
Julian, in 1998, when I produced Tobago Fest, which is really Tobago Carnival 2022, right? It was done specifically for economic and artistic development. We need 2 bites of the cherry. This Tobago Carnival they're talking about in October is a must on the calendar. But there's a cabal in the tourism division that is seeking to destroy this carnival that just went here. There's a cabal, you know. There's a cabal, no 2 ways about it. And what I would like you and others to do is to investigate. It have a senior member in the cabal who is managers of some Calypsonians and things, and it's only those getting work. We need to do more investigative reporting on these kind of things that going on is taxpayers' money spending. So you must have the 2 carnivals because we are directly linked with Trinidad. It's the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad having carnival, Tobago having carnival. What happened? Do they stop carnival in Point 14 for the Borode or Arima? No. Let us sit down properly, analyze the situation, and don't sit on it. Don't just sit on it. Do something when you get the report. Start to work. Start to do something. And I want to make a statement here. It might sound controversial, but that's how I go. That's how I am. You need to fire that woman, Boris. You need to fire her. You need to move Megan from community development, culture and pushing community development. Make Anselm Richards the financial secretary. Then take over the consularship from Tashia. And let Farley give up the finances and see about tourism and culture, because that is our mainstay. That must be done properly. This whole thing had to restructure, you know. We need to put competent people inside there. Boris and them is on show. They just have nice hair and all kind of something, but they ain't doing the work.
Very, very, very strong position there. So your recommendation,
controversial too, yeah.
Your recommendations is making those as the changes.
Yes.
Within the structure.
He had to do that, else he can't win next election.
All right. So based on what you're suggesting there with those changes, what you seem to be firm on your position that the boat carnival should be maintained.
The boat carnival should be.
So then, are you suggesting ultimately, based on your concerns with the existence of the carnival at the national time, which is in February, that it should be downscaled, as in we should not try to do it on the volume to even resemble what is competing with Trinidad or spending those kinds of excessive sums, particularly coming from the Tobago House of Assembly?
Yeah, what I'm saying, the carnival was never structured properly. And so we keep throwing money behind the National Carnival here. We allow band leaders to come in town 2 o'clock in the evening and just say, you know, it ain't no mass, it ain't no mass. What are the consequences? Should we now develop a position? No, not should we. We should develop a position that if band leaders don't be on the parade route at a specific time, that they lose points. That is how we had to start a treatment thing. I coming down from Easterfield just now there to come to do this interview. Yeah, you know why here a fella, they clear the road, one of the guys telling the other, throw the rubbish right there, throw the rubbish right there. Now that's the kind of thinking we need to change. You could only do that with draconian measures. Our supervisors don't do no work because some of them can't read and write. The young girl and them who working with them had to do the reports for them, so they compromising the integrity of the work. This country need plenty work, you know, plenty work.
How do you then respond to the reality that some will say and put forward the point that the only persons pushing extensively for the maintenance of February are those who stand to benefit and to gain financially in terms of our various sectors, versus the general public seem to be suggesting it's not working. We need to reduce or do away with it altogether. How do you respond to that?
I would maintain my position. There's a need for the two carnival. I am seeing economic growth for the two carnivals, but it must be done comprehensively. An overhaul must be done comprehensively. If it is we just sit down and say, look, carnival ain't going good, you know. What we go do? Bam, bam, bam. You ain't do no report. You ain't calling people to talk to them. Next carnival come. What will happen? Let me tell you something. We made such a fundamental blemish in October. You can't talk Tobago Carnival and then talk about Panorama champion, Soca champion, that kind of something. You understand me? And talking about no competition, no banner of the year, that kind of something. You must have that. That is one of the biggest blemish. The other one was this stage in the sea. You see, the cabal will benefit from things like that. The cabal will enjoy plenty fat, boat ride and all kind of something. But we must focus that our carnival is spread over 2 weeks, the Tobago Carnival, over 2 weeks, where we could get visitors from Spain, Indonesia, Japan, all over the world to bring economic value to our country. People come, Trinity come, wine, that kind of something. Right. What happens to our economy? You spend $17 million and up to now we're in a concrete, you know. You realize that up to now there's not a comprehensive breakdown to say, well, we pay Caesar's Army this, we pay this one that one had fed, well, nothing. And it was promised since last year. We're going into the third month, and up to now, nothing is said. And I will keep on talking about it because it is my children, grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren they're playing with, the future they're playing with.
So you're calling for a declaration in
They
terms
must
of
do that.
come
They
and
must
go
do
through the
that.
details with the public,
They
present it in
they
the House
must
to
do
give us an
that.
idea of the breakdown
They
of
must
what
do
the
that.
actual spend would have been.
Yes, they must do that. They must do that.
So again, you're making.
And I vex with Anselm Richards, you know. I vex with Anselm because Anselm have more knowledge than that. And instead of playing coy to Fali, he's supposed to tell Fali what's going on. Tell him, boy, we can't spend our money behind that. Let us do this thing properly. I vex with Terrance Baines too, because Terrance have the knowledge to change this economy. And it might sound far-fetched, but if it is, we bring the carnivals, the two carnivals, into the system, not only in Scarborough, but into the villages. it would reduce to a percentage crime. Because when young people are involved in activities in the communities, it just take them away from the gun and the knife and the jumping through my window. And I can see how Terrance can see that and put emphasis on that. The other thing too is that we ain't even making an effort to talk to the CPL people, to bring a CPL game here, to bring a one game here, to let the Begonia see cricket at an international status. You know, so Julian boy.
So you want to see abroad in terms of looking at various aspects.
Yes, across the board, agriculture. I hear Panton talking about 95 or 98% of the money is spent on recurring expenditure. And I'm saying, what are they doing to start manufacturing things in Tobago? Are we making an effort? If you're making an effort, why don't tell the public?
Very interesting perspectives are being expressed here. In fact, Terrance Sandiford going beyond just mass and really speaking broadly to some of the areas in relation to our economy here on the island. Final 30 seconds, your message to those stakeholders involved in Carnival as far as their responsibility.
My message is that Fali needs to take over the ministry of tourism and culture. You need to let a lady go back and teach you wherever it is, right? You need to move Megan and put her down with Terrance to see about community development. You need to let Fali take over tourism and culture, because that is our mainstay. That is our mainstay. We need to let Anselm Richards be appointed the Secretary for Finance, right? And in regards to the band leaders and them, the 90% of them would phase out when you put things in place. The hustlers who want to just come and get two pieces of curtain and sew it up. You know, I was told that a mass band leader had a costume from 2-3 years ago and just want to do some bomb spray on it and bring it for thing. So we have to get rid of it. We have to get rid of it. Start it over. New rules, regulation, make them be more accountable. Come on time. If you don't come on time, you have to be points have to be deducted.
Thank you very much.
You can't get economic growth from this situation.
Thank you very much there. Terrance Sandiford, Chairman of NCDA Tobago region, bringing forward his perspective here on the entire, not just the Carnival and the mass, but looking broadly at the industry and the space here in Tobago and making his recommendations. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, we're just about at that point, and we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.